One thing that's cool about Armor Brigade is how the community's basically kept this game alive by continuing to create content for it. We have maps that take place in Vietnam. We have whole campaigns that take place in the Pacific during World War II. We have maps even in Gettysburg, although we don't have a faction for the Civil War, which is unfortunate. Overall, there's a lot of good content and a lot of mods that have been created for this game, and I highly suggest that you either pick up the game or head on over to the Steam Workshop and download some of these mods. In today's video, we're going to go over some of the mods. I'm going to showcase a few of the maps for you, and we're probably going to conduct combat in either Gettysburg or at least maybe the hamlets of North Vietnam or Vietnam. And if you enjoy military strategy, tactics, and doctrine and like seeing applied to strategy games, I guarantee this is the channel for you, so make sure you subscribe. Comment down below if you've played any of these mods, or suggest any that the community might like, or that you like, or that you've created. Anyways, make sure you hit that join button because it truly helps out the channel and it allows us to continue to create content, and this video is going to be a good time, so make sure you button up and buckle up. So let's dive into this. So during the first part of this, we're just going to showcase some of these maps over here on this right hand side. You're going to see that I have two different Italy maps. The main difference between these Italy maps is I've begun editing this map down here on the southern side, adding a graveyard because I was planning on making a video about conducting a water crossing and doing like a fun little mission with it, but I just haven't found the time to complete it yet. We're still going through some of the basic maps. Here's a test map. This was just me testing on how to create a map without going through the trouble of downloading the GPS data, the elevation data, and so there's actually in the files certain colors that correspond to like elevation or buildings, and so this was just me creating like a flat green map, putting elevation in it. It's just kind of boring. It's not uploaded or anything. Then over here you have a map that takes place in Germany. As you see, someone really put a lot of effort into this map. If we click on it, we can kind of zoom in and see what all they've done, and just kind of zoom in and out. And then we right click to zoom out. We can click over here and we can right click and just go in and out and just kind of get a feel for it, see what's done. And I'd imagine this map is much better when we get actually in the game. Then we have the rolling hills. I was always interested in this map. I haven't actually played this one yet. This is just a generic map someone made. It's just the rolling hills, and overall I think it would be fun just to conduct some little infantry assaults over these hills, or just to see how you would deal with elevation with an armored brigade, or if you're just conducting tactical assaults. There's even a village up here. That's actually pretty cool. Then we have the Vietnamese hamlets. Here you'd have just some tense jungle combat. There's a small city of Chu Lai right there, and then you have what looks to be several hills right here. I think this would be an interesting map to set up ambushes, or even just conduct assaults over these hillsides and just see how armor is either like inhibited by elevation, or how you would just ambush armor units just coming out of the forest. I think that would be really fun to experiment with, or just trying to move units up and over some of these hillsides, set some tank guns up or some heavy artillery, and just kind of bombard this city. And then we have Gettysburg. This map's actually really good. I've zoomed in and I've played it a few times. You have the rolling hills, things like that. Good little hillside, some fun little tactical situations that could take place on the map, and I would like to see a faction created for it. I've created a few mods myself, like a little Star Wars one with X-Wings and tanks and all of that. I used to have it on the channel, but not like a full faction that you could upload and do things with. It's not overly difficult, and if you head on over to the Discord for Armor Brigade, anyone will help you and walk you through. I think at one point one of my tank's turrets was like too far in front, so they really guided me on how to get that situated. Then here we have Iwo Jima. I mean, Iwo Jima, this is where you could do all your watercraft landings, your beach invasions, the meat grinder. It really looks like they have everything just labeled. A lot of dedication and time went into this map. And it actually, I believe it comes with the whole campaign and missions that you can do and play with. I've never played the campaign, but I know it's something that's in the game. And then we have Saipan, 2 more islands. This one looks really good. It looks like there's a lot of elevation that players need to deal with. I wonder how that really works. Now that I'm like looking at it, these hillsides might not be playable over here, especially with like you need to navigate this a little bit. I wonder how that elevation is. It seems like the whole northern part of the map just isn't really like feasible. Over here looks much better on the southern island. That's interesting. I'd have to like really play that to see if that's even like anyone's even capable of playing that like in a competent manner. All right, so let's dive over here into the city of Chu Lai. I want to see how big this city is. This is a relatively small square. And then we're going to move on and we're going to check out all the factions that have been added. So over here on the player side, we have Egypt, Netherlands, Czechoslovakia, Belgium, France, Italy, all the ones from the DLC, Yugoslavia, Poland, the British Army, GDR, FRG, Finland, USSR, US Army, Mongolia is a downloaded one, Taiwan, Cuba, Japan, if you want to do some Cuban invasions, Japanese, South Korea, Iran, Argentina, North Vietnamese, Israel, and the People's Liberation Army, and as well as Australia. So if we wanted to do like the PLA versus the North Vietnamese, that's something we could do. We can see how that plays out. Let's go in. Here's the city of Chu Lai, relatively small engagement. We're going to put both objectives there in the city that need to be captured. So we'll obtain this one first, and then we'll move, we'll just say east of that one, because I believe that is like straight east. Hit done. We're at 2800, 2800. That's perfectly fine. Mechanized, mechanized. And then we're just going to assign a few things. So we have all our infantry, the size. Under vehicles, you see someone created all kinds of heavy vehicles. I don't see any M113s or anything. Tanks, T55 or T59s, light T62s, light tank companies. Then we have our man-pad SAM batteries, gun detachment, ATGM teams, type RPGs, things like that. All custom made for this faction. Ooh, that's really cool. Then a heavy mortar as well as a medium mortar detachment. Well, we always want mortars. Then under aircraft, we have just dedicated aircraft we could use. Blackhawks, Harborins, Shandongs, Q1s, J71s. Let's take these guys with us. We got 2 of them. We're not going to grab any airframes. And a Marine infantry platoon. Is that U.S. Marine? That's probably just normal Marines, but we're going to bring them with us. Let's get some mechanized stuff. A mechanized infantry platoon, 2 of them. And then the rest of the things we want would be tanks. We always need more tanks. We need tons of tanks. What, do we have any heavy tanks? T63 light tank company, normal tank company, tank platoon. What do we get? 2 pages of lots of tanks? Yeah, man, we're defending a city, right? Then can we do any sort of APCs? We have we have maybe just some RPG detachments. Just for fun. And then some more mortars. I always like a good section of mortars. Oh, ooh, that's cool. Yeah, let's grab this guy. Oh, we're maxed out. We'll just get another mechanized platoon. That should be good. Done. Play. Then we're just going to do some fun little urban combat, right? This is going to be high intense. We have tanks. Look at these buildings, all custom. I'm trying to WAS right now. That's not something that's possible. We have what looks to be our mortar platoons. So let's zoom in, take a look at this map. Some brush. I thought this would be trees. This looks like trees. We're going to see. So we have 2 objectives. I imagine this is going to be fast, furious, and deadly. We have mortars. We have an anti-tank platoon. So let's set them right here. Set them right here. This is going to be so fast. It's going to be ridiculous. We should have picked a way bigger map for this size. Oh my goodness. Guys, I don't know how this is going to go. Tanks first, baby. Tanks first. Look at the size of that platoon. RPG. What's our even line of sight? Okay, so it's relatively... So there must be some elevation here. What's the ISO look like? So we're 2 hillsides. We're on the backside of a hill. So once we crest this hill, what's going to happen is we're going to begin fighting. So let's just do it. I'm not going to send everyone all at once because that just seems really, really, really bad. Let's just send 1 mechanized platoon just for fun straight into the first objective to secure it. Advance. We're going to right click. We're going to turn SOPs on. We want them to unload on contact. We always want that. Any orders? No orders. Once they start moving over, we have this unit who's going to follow up after. Oops, I don't want that. Rejoin. All right, let's hit play. We're not going to issue a lot of commands. Thank you. I was like, where's reattach at? All right, we have tons and tons of infantry. This is going to be intense. They have a lot of tree cover. There's 2 hills we need to crest. Our tanks aren't really in the most ideal position. We're going to move these RPG teams up over this hill. Wow, these guys are really slow. I guess it is like Cold War tech, so they're going to be slow. Our first set of tanks is going to advance. Let's see if we can put them in a column. Oh, they can't find path because I'm like obstructing justice right here. There we go. These units need to move as well. We're just going to advance over this hill as well. We're not doing anything crazy, okay, guys? We're not getting extremely tactical. We're just trying to find a way into this town. Everyone's trying to form a column. We're trying to get our ATGM teams online. And we're just going to try and create some quick, fast combat in the fields of Vietnam. Small little engagement. Well, it's going to be a fast, deadly little engagement. Let's speed it up. Slow it down. All right, first engagement. Guy made a mistake. This BRDM recon platoon is going to have a bad time, as you see. Is not... Oh my god, they're just like shredding this dude. And he's just like... Look at that. Like, look at that. That BRDM's like, dude, I fear no man. Right turret, no damage. No damage, no damage. This guy's literally invincible. What's going on right now? Oh my god. This guy's from the future. This is a Bradley, not a BRDM. Or BMP2. Or BRDM. Oh my god. Oh, I thought this fight would be fast. This is going to be real slow. How many bullets did we waste on that one guy? Let's go advance to right here. Light tank company is going to approach over here on the south. We're securing this first objective. These guys are moving in a column formation. From there, we're going to have them advance into that area, that second objective. No real reason to drop artillery. Oops. We have an RPG detachment. We're going to try and get them into position. All right, we have another contact right here. Hauled, hit, no damage, easily destroyed. All right, AI is taking it really easy on us. He's really taking his time. He's going to allow us to walk right into the city. All right, all our infantry are now unloaded. That was unload on contact. So, I mean, not the most ideal thing. This would be like a much better on like a much bigger map. That was completely our fault right there. All right, here we go. We've come across some infantry now. They're popping smoke. Is that infantry? They're running, probably trying to get into one of these buildings. I don't see them being alive very long. What's that look on ISO? Right, that guy's getting lit up. We have this tree line right here. We have a lot of infantry, and they're no longer with us. Waiting for some good tank combat. Let's see what we can get. Let's see how our column continues to move. I mean, that's standard Cold War right there. Just move in a standard column. Have a wonderful day. We're also going to set these guys' formation into a V. We don't even really need to utilize our second mechanized platoon. There's no reason for that right now. We're going to secure this center building with our ATGM team just in case we need to move them anywhere. And the AI should have an equal number of force that we do. We don't really have any recon. I want these guys to SOP unload on contact. And I want these guys to continue to in a formation. Let's just do wedge. And I want them to advance up here. I want to secure this flank right now. They're going to get in their position. And then we kind of need to sort some of this mess out. Put some of these guys in buildings if we can. See what we can do with it. I mean, we could always detach them if needed. I thought the AI was going to come at me with all it got, but so far it's only sent 2 infantry platoons as well as a BRDM. So let's fast forward a bit, see what we get. Moving into that second objective, we're going to take a look at the actual. Everyone's moving. Trying to secure the rest of this village. Next contact. Could easily destroyed. Yep. There we go. We have some infantry over here on this right-hand side. Let's call a little air support in. See what we can do. Just waste it. They're inbound in 4 minutes. Continuing to sweep. Looks like the North Vietnamese didn't want to show up to fight today. What's this line of sight for this vehicle? Not really good. I'm just going to advance over this hillside. I know they have like a 2,800 force, so let's fast forward. See what we can do. There's their first tank. What's he doing? T-62 light. We do have air support coming in 2 minutes. Our tanks, we're going to set up a good little front line. We're going to advance in that general direction, and we're going to set them up in a wedge formation. So really we have both our flanks covered, and we have a lot of our firepower facing forward. All right, what are these? These are K-63 APCs being engaged by our light infantry. They should easily be able to destroy those. All right, we also have air support in around 2 minutes. Lots of tanks. What's going on right here, guys? SOPs, just pop smoke, please. Let's pop all kinds of smoke you guys get in these buildings. You route out of there. I would prefer for you to fall back. But you do you. North Vietnamese just call in formation. All kinds of firepower straight up north. 2 minutes till that airstrike comes in. Looks like we finally encountered a good bit of contact. We're going to get this other airstrike up and running. So we should have 4 aircraft conducting close air support here in a moment. 1 in 5 minutes, 1 in 1 minute. So we should basically do everything we can to do what we need. All right, these units, we're going to continue to advance. What's our line of sight? Let's see if we can get these guys right on this edge of town. Right, this city's really giving us a hard time. These T-62s are not falling. There we go. They're exposing their flanks to our tanks, though, so that's really good for us. 1 minute till that air support's online. You guys are fine to pop smoke. Like, I'm just going to pop all your smoke. See what happens. Right, there's no reason to, like, really, like, grind those units down. Especially if we have, like, no real anti-tank up there. Like, what's going on in this tank crew? So they're, like, finally coming out of the woods, which we knew they were going to do. We have this good old tank platoon really shutting all of this down. 37 seconds for that first air support. Let's see if we can get this up. Do we have another tank? Those guys are going to walk really slow. I guess we're going to hit, almost hit T for, like, mortars. That's not how it works in this game. And we're just going to do fire for effect right there. Grab some more mortars. These are our heavy mortars. At least let's kind of shut some of this nonsense down. There we go. Fire for effect. It's perfectly fine. What can this guy do? High explosives. Let's shut him down as well. Lots of mortars going to be falling here. We should have air support coming in here in a moment. Let's go ISO. Here they come. There's our aircraft right there. Here come rockets. Lots of gun runs. Any bombs? Clusters. Small amount, no damage. Jesus. Slow moving. Engaging. These guys probably can't engage with those guns. We don't know a lot about this system. They might not have line of sight or anything. High explosive anti-tank. Soft hard targets. Limited elevation. We're doing a fair amount of damage. Artillery should be falling here in a moment. That's going to be really good for us. These tanks continue just to suppress those infantry. Kind of a waste. Looks like we lost 1 tank right here. Unfortunate casualty in the war. Units continue to move forward. 2 minutes for that next airstrike. Let's speed it up a little bit, see what happens. Ooh. I guess that's what happens. Alright, here comes all that artillery. Tanks are moving out. Everyone's firing for effect. ATGM teams are going to be walking for an absolutely long time. We do have a lot of tanks right here. We could move them up if that's something we really desired to do. Let's see what we get. 25 seconds. There we go. Tanks are choosing to engage this unit over here on this right-hand side, or this aircraft. What are these? Our F4s. Really, I thought this would be much faster, but the lethality is way, way, way turned down, right? Like, the lethality is so low in some of these instances that it's just like an absolute, like, just, like, I thought this lethality would be way turned up. So that's really worth noting. We've dropped so much like artillery and just heavy weapon systems that it just seems like we don't really have the firepower to deal with a lot of this. And I mean, this is just going to be like a long, protracted conflict, right? As you see that jet firing lasers. What are those? A-37s from the North Vietnamese. They're going to divert. Those are napalm. They dropped napalm on our troops. That sucks. These guys are fine. I think we basically won this little front line. Let's see what we get. Let's continue to advance. We have lots of artillery on this right-hand side. Let's adjust this unit. HE. I think we've destroyed most of this. Are these guys destroyed? Yep. No reason to drop artillery. Let's go fast. See what happens. Let's just speed up the rest of this. Do we have any air support that we could use? They're all regrouping, so our air support is going to come back. Let's continue to suppress this artillery over here. Hey, geez, not a big fan of smokes right now. Tank platoon's flanks are currently exposed, but they're just moving. We're going to say orders to pop smoke. We're going to turn our smoke generators on. Alright. Let's see what we get. Fast forward. North Vietnamese. What mistake the North Vietnamese did is they let us get into the city. Right? They let us get into that city, and so now they need to push into the city. So basically we shouldn't even really be advancing out the way we're advancing. Right? We're just kind of sacrificing so much firepower just to be like, oh, we're losing like our whole tank platoon or tank company, that sort of thing. It's really not super necessary that we even advanced out of the city. We could have just like hunkered down here and just had a good old time. Right? And we still have a whole, what is it, mechanized platoon right here? What are these guys doing? Right here? So we just say, hey, go reinforce this position. Orders. Or SOP. Right? Unload on contact. Not really necessary, but I don't really know what's in this hillside. Right, they still have a few tanks alive. Our tank platoons mostly got destroyed. They just had a better fighting position, right? We pushed out of the city, and they have, like, this hillside right here. So overall, I mean, like, this was, like, a terrible decision to, like, send these tank companies over here. They should have just sat back and engaged these, and we should have just mortared this hillside. But as you see, like, the lethality is really slow, and I didn't really want this, like, game to, like, drag on as it was. Let's go back out. Go HE right there. It's going to adjust. What do we have? Air support. Try and shut this down. We might even lose this just with how reckless we were playing. Right, they still need to grind through all of our units, which isn't going to happen. We still have another set of infantry. We have two, like these guys right here. We could just advance along this. They'll eventually get into position. Then we have whatever these guys were supposed to, these guys are doing. It's going to be walking a long time, I guess. Lots of tanks showing up. Let's speed through. They're finally like making a dent in our like defense. They're pushing us back. Lots, and they finally like broken right here, but we're re-securing and re-fortifying this position. Like they just used their tanks so perfectly, and this was just such a good position for them. That's fine for our units to like fall back. Let's get into this position. And they're just pushing through. Like we can't stop these T-55s at all. These main battle tanks are ATGMs are working their way up, and we'll engage them when we get the opportunity to. If they try and push this objective like they're doing. And so, right, we just got greedy with how we were playing. Here comes some more tanks. Right, just absolutely massacring me. Alright, let's speed it up. See how this ends. Alright, everyone's moving. Advance up there. This is gonna like steamroll us. And there we go. Tactical victory. Alright, let's watch that quick little replay. So what they do, the music is, we're gonna mute it. Alright, 305, 87, vehicles 43, 35. We lost a good little route, but we basically had the objectives the whole time. Let's view the replay. Speed it up a little bit. So where did we start making mistakes? Right here, right? Once we moved this tank platoon right here is when everything went bad. So let's hit play. All right, this tank platoon kind of got sacrificed a bit right here, holding this front line. This tank platoon tried to expose their flank over here on this right-hand side. Once they started collapsing in, to like really, sacrificing that whole flank was really deadly for us. And then when their main battle tanks finally showed up, right, because we kind of tried to speed the like scenario up, they were just able to sweep through the city. But we obviously had several ATGMs waiting, moving into position to resecure these positions. Overall, tactical victory, I'll take it. I mean, it was just a good little battle of attrition, lots of air support, and a good little modded scenario. All right, guys, subscribe, join the channel. Peace.